Good afternoon. Welcome to the press conference for Novak Djokovic. Please raise your hand, state your organisation when asking your question. Novak, tell us how you're feeling going into the fortnight.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I feel great. Obviously coming into Wimbledon is always an honor. It's always a privilege. It's a tournament that was always a dream tournament for me when I was a kid. So even though I have had plenty of success here in my career and played this tournament so many times, I still feel like that, young Novak coming to the tournament and really being able to live his dream. So it's an amazing tournament, the biggest one in my eyes. So of course, I'm super excited to start off 2023 Wimbledon.
I know that winning most of your Grand Slam titles, you've had to beat the same sort of people over years and years and years. I wonder, especially now you're at the age you are, how invigorating is it when someone like Carlos comes along? How much sort of extra zip does that give you, a new challenge? And how much of the 20-year-old Novak Djokovic do you see in him?
Well, there's always someone, out there. So there always has been and always will be. And Carlos is a very nice guy who is carrying himself very maturely for a 20-year-old. Already has plenty of accolades to his name, making history of the game so young. I think he's great for the game as a player who brings a lot of intensity, energy on the court, and also being very humble and having a nice personality off the court. And I think, for someone his age, it's impressive, everything he's doing. And with his team, of course, he's got Juan Carlos Ferrero, former #1 in the world, in his corner, who can guide him and mentor him. And they've been functioning very well as a team. For me, I don't need to have Carlos or anybody else really to find that extra drive and motivation when I enter slams, because I know that I have to win 7 matches to win a title. So whoever I get to face across the net is, it doesn't make a difference for me. I need to do what I need to do, and most of my attention is focused on my body and my mind and my game, and trying to, I guess, bring it to the optimal state where I'm performing my best every match.
Just wondered, generally, do you feel more relaxed in life now you have number 23? And also, how do you ensure you don't lose any motivation like what happened after the 2016 French Open?
I don't feel more relaxed, to be honest. I still feel hungry for success, for more Grand Slams, for more achievements in tennis. And as long as there's that drive, I know that I'm able to compete at the highest level. If that goes down, then I guess I'll have to face probably different circumstances and have a different approach. But so far, there's still the drive. A few days after Roland Garros, I was already thinking, about preparation for grass and what needs to be done. And the tennis season is such that it doesn't really give you much time to really reflect or enjoy. Of course, I did enjoy with my family, but not for so long, even though, of course, a lot of people are coming up to me and congratulating me and reminding me of the historic success, which is nice, of course, and it's very flattering. But at the same time, my mind was already and is already directed towards Wimbledon. What's the next slam and what's the next task? And that's the life of the professional tennis player. And I think that kind of mentality is necessary for, maintenance of that intensity. If you really want to have a chance and have a go at more slam titles, you need to maintain that concentration and devotion. So yeah, that's where I am. Of course, part of me is very, very proud and very thrilled to be able to be in this position, and have 23 slams. But I want to try to use every Grand Slam opportunity I have at this stage where I'm feeling good in my body and feeling motivated and playing well, very good tennis, try to get more.
Novak. You've always said that winning Roland Garros was Mount Everest for you, but I wonder whether grass and Wimbledon in particular has been the tournament or the surface that has best showcased your development as a tennis player.
That's a good point. I think you're right. I haven't played much in my childhood days on grass. Actually, I've never, played on the grass court before I was 17. So, but I always dreamt of winning Wimbledon. That was always a goal. When I started playing on grass, and for the first few years, I actually thought I was doing pretty well. I got to top 100 in the world first time here in Wimbledon, qualified, played some tough five-setters in the opening rounds and reached the fourth round as a teenager and managed to get to top 100. And so this tournament has a lot of significance, I think, also statistically for me in my career. And then for several years, I did struggle, I think, to really take my game on the grass courts to a next level. Because naturally for me, it feels better to slide, and grass is really not forgiving surface when it comes to sliding, extreme sliding motions on the court. So I had to learn how to move, how to walk, how to play, how to read the bounces and etc. Because grass court is the rarest surface we have in sport, which is contrary to what you had maybe 40, 50, 60 years ago, where you play at 3 out of 4 slams were played on grass. So nowadays that's not the case. So it does take time, more than any other surface, to really to get used to it. But I think in the probably last 10 years of my career, I've adapted very quickly to the surface, and I think that the results here are a testament to that. But also the fact that I have not played a lead-up tournament to Wimbledon many times. I actually played, I think, maybe Queens, 18, and Eastbourne 17, and that's it. Before that or after that, I haven't really played any week on grass before Wimbledon. So that's kind of tricky, because you really want to have a couple of matches. And I normally play or Stoke Park or Hurlingham at least 1 or 2 matches, try to get that feeling of match play. But I don't know. When I enter the center court, it just I guess it just awakens something in me, and I'm able to perform at a very high level.
Hi, Novak. After what we saw in the world of golf with Saudi Arabia, now there's exploration on the part of the ATP and the WTA about doing business in Saudi Arabia, a country with a lot of money, also a country with a lot of questions about its human rights record, its record on women's rights and LGBTQ rights. I'm wondering, as a leader of your sport, what do you think about the prospect of some sort of arrangement with Saudi Arabia, perhaps investing in tennis, perhaps hosting tournaments?
Well, I think the president of ATP and WTA are going to probably answer those questions better than I, in terms of what strategically they think is the right move for tennis. But I think personally it was just a question of time when they were to start some kind of negotiations or conversations in tennis to try to enter tennis. So they've done that with pretty much all other global sports except maybe basketball. We see what's happening in football for the last few years, and the stars that are going there for tremendous amounts of money. And we know that Formula One is there, and then all the other sports, golf, etc. And you mentioned golf. I think that we as individual sport on a global level are probably closest to golf in terms of how we see sports. And I think from that example, we can probably learn a lot, some positives, some negatives, and try to, structure a deal if it's going in that direction in a proper way that is going to protect the integrity and the tradition and history of this sport. but still be able to grow it in such a way that will be appropriate.
You mentioned that it was just a few days after Roland Garros that you started thinking about what you need to do for the grass court season. Is there a process that you go through after you have a big achievement, after you win a slam, where you give yourself a little some time to decompress a little bit and recharge? And what is it that you do? I mean, can you take us through like what those first days are like, and then what happens? You just wake up in the morning ready to go?
No, it really depends. I mean, like for example, this time I went with my wife for a trip, just the two of us. We went for some hiking. It was quite active rest for me actually after Roland Garros. So I was hiking and doing a lot of activities in the nature for 5-6 days, in the week after Paris, and spent some time with her, quality time, and then I came back and spent some further time with kids, and then I already started training basically. I also there on that island where we were having our holiday, I was doing some gym, so it's this kind of a mindset where you just it becomes a lifestyle of taking care of your body. For me, it's more than a work. Is actually I don't know. It's kind of a habit that I have that allows me to take care of my body in a proper way, so that I'm still able to keep going at the highest level. And as I mentioned, you have very little time between the finals of French Open and first round of Wimbledon. So, you can't really, I guess, let loose with your body and eat what you want, or not sleep, and, not work out, and then try to put yourself in a great shape in a matter of 7 or 8 days to be able to perform at the Slam. So that's not going to work. So I never really allow myself to have, not because I don't, I'm not allowed to allow myself to like let loose and not, I guess, not stretch, not do the daily routines, and not do something for my body, and not eat well or sleep well. It's just because I don't want to. I actually love the healthy lifestyle. It just, makes me feel good. I have more energy. I'm, better to myself, to others. And then, of course, it also helps, I guess, maintain certain level of fitness while you're not playing with a racket on the court, when you're not training actual tennis. And then when you come back to the tennis court, you feel like you haven't lost much. The endurance part is something that you're losing a little bit, and the tonus of the muscles. So it has to come back, but it comes back with playing, and it comes back with a specific program that you put in place with your team. So there's always something. I think it's, it's kind of a 365 day a year dedication that it's more lifestyle for me. So it's not an obstacle. It's not really something that I feel like it's a burden. It's just I choose to do that, and I like it.
Sorry to switch languages now.
Thank you.